so today we're going to be making an ikia meatballs with the sauce. So let's go. Okay, so I've used 30 grams of panko crumbs. I didn't have any stale bread, so I've just used bread from my pantry. So this is the 50-50 bread, which is crustless. And there's 2 slices of that. We've got 250 grams of beef meat and 250 grams of pork meat. We've got 1 onion, we've got 2 garlic cloves. Now you'll see these are all roughly chopped because it's going in the blitzer. We've got some parsley, so it's about 5 grams, and 5 grams of fresh thyme as well. Okay, and 1 egg. Okay, and all the staples. And then for the sauce, we've got some gravy granules. So this is 3 tablespoons, and I added just a diggy bit more in it. 2 garlic cloves which have been grated or chopped. 2 little shallots, all chopped up fine. About a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then we've got some soft cheese, which is 50 grams, and some creme fraiche, but we won't be using all that creme fraiche. Okay, so let me just pop this in the fridge for a moment, and we'll start doing this. Okay, so bring your food processor that way. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put in our onions. Now the reason why I put these in first is because sometimes when you put the bread in first, it doesn't quite chop up all the onions and the garlic very well, so that's why I do that. So put your parsley in. And put your thyme in. Just make sure it is on. Okay, and okay, so what we're going to do now is going to quickly do our egg as well. So I put that like that. Make sure it's beaten, because when you put it into the processor, it doesn't do it very well if it's not all blended. Okay, so now we're going to pop in our bread and our breadcrumbs. So pop them in. Okay, so it's going to sound weird, but this is when I kind of start to put my seasoning in, because the bread kind of absorbs it. So I'm using fine salt for this. So just about a teaspoon and a half of that, and some pepper. Now, I always use fresh pepper. You can use normal pepper if you want. Just put a little bit of ground pepper in. About a teaspoon and a half in again. Okay, so blitz again. Once again, it's all mixed in. You can see it's starting to go into a bit of a... Now, this is when you can... I shouldn't really be doing it this way, but this is the way you taste. Right, got more than enough in of salt and pepper. But the reason why I do that first is because once you put the meat in, you can't taste it unless you fry the meat a little bit, and then you can taste it. So, personally, I would wait. Okay, so we're going to put our mince in. I was trying to find some like yodeling music or Norwegian music or around that sort of kind of country, but it wouldn't really do it. So we've got this in the background at the moment. It's kind of from that sort of area, but Alexa wouldn't understand us, so we had to put yodeling in So we've got yodeling music at the moment. Me and Carrie are laughing because it took us quite a long time to get it. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. Doesn't really matter too much because I'm going to be... Okay, so okay, and slowly add it in. Okay, so you want it so it's just kind of coming together. So I'll put it over there. Remember, please remember to turn it off once you're done. Okay, so take this out. Be careful of the blade though. That's why I'm being a bit more cautious. And then we're going to roll them up. Okay, so you can have these as big or as little as you like, whatever you like. Just put them there. Now you can use 5% mince, or you can use mince from the, or you can use it from the butchers. They do say it's meant to be quite good in fat, but they can't guarantee it. So get the 5% if you can. But this time I couldn't really get the 5% meat because I think everyone's trying to be a bit more healthier after the lockdown. So well, I couldn't get it in the pork anyway. The beef I could get it in. I think bit pork's quite fatty anyway. Try and get them all the same size because when you're cooking them, you want them all to be about the same. Okay, so just going to roll these and then I'm going to put them in the fridge for about 20 minutes and then we'll be back. Alright, see you in a bit, my coquettes. Okay, so my meatballs are in the, just cooking. They're just in the fridge, cooling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do our chips. Now I've made these chips. You can use frozen chips if you want. It's just that I prefer at the moment to know what I'm actually putting into it and making it. So I'm going to put olive oil in. Ooh. This one's a bit bigger than my other one. Okay, so pop that in. And we are just going to give a quick stir. It does look like a lot of oil, but once we put it on there, it's going to come out of the oil for a bit. Okay, so it's very important if you're making your own chips, leave them to dry. Because if you don't leave them to dry, then they just basically snap. They don't do very good. They don't crisp up either. But this way they get a nice like fluffy bit in the middle, which is really nice. Okay. So a bit more salt. This is what I like, the coarse salt on my chips. Number one, it helps the oil just soak up a little bit, and also it helps with the flavour. You're not putting too much salt on it. So some pepper. Now I parboil these before anything, so that's why I said obviously leave them to on the side. Now this is what I put them on. I put them on under a baking tray and then I put like one of these just to help it. A bit more pepper, tiny bit more salt, and that's that. Okay, so give another bit of a stir. One of these. Okay, so mine's got holes in it. This helps the chips a little bit. Put them all on there. I mean, you can always add a bit more salt to your chips once they're cooked. Okay, so my oven's preheated at 200 degrees. That's probably the best that you want them at. So let's put them there. A little bit. I quite like doing your own chips as well, because when you do your own chips, they look individual. It's not. That's what we were saying about when I stopped the video a little while ago. I said to Gary, I said, oh, does it, IKEA's meatballs are really small. And he said, yeah, but you've got to remember they're manufactured by Shaw Susan. So although ours are a little bit bigger, they're nicer. Okay, so put these in till they're going like a goldeny brown. So that's where I'm going to pop them in now. And I'll see you in a bit, my coquettes. Bye. Okay, so our meatballs have been resting. So I'll pop them in here. We're going to part cook these, just so they get a little bit of a crust on the top. So I'll move this over here. So be patient with them, but just, you can have a look, obviously. I know sometimes my pan struggles a bit with where the heat is, because this pan's so big. Okay, so leave them just for a minute. While we're doing that, actually, we could check on our chips. So let's have a look. I'll put them in the other oven, just so we've got a bit more room. Okay, so they're doing quite nicely now. I'm going a bit more crispy and everything, so put them back in there. I've moved them up to a 240 heat because they weren't cooking very quickly, and obviously we've got the meatballs in and everything, so okay, now this is the reason why I said to put them in the fridge first before obviously you start frying them, because you want them hard, otherwise they all break apart when you put them in the pan. Mine's not breaking apart, but that's good. Go look sad, it's doing a sad face. Okay, so they're all crisping up quite nicely now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put them onto our baking tray. Turn this off for a sec. Ooh, almost. Okay, so let's bring this over here for the moment. I'm going to pop that over the top. Just a bit. I'm going to pop that on. Pop this on a low heat. This has got olive oil in it. We're going to start making our sauce. So put these in. Oh, put these in for around 10 minutes. You got me then, Nat. Could you see my eyes? Oh dear. Okay, so we are gonna start making our sauce. What we are going to do. Okay, so you need to bring over your onions and your garlic for the moment, and we're going to pop our little thing there. I'm going to turn our kettle on because we want a bit of hot water as well. We're going to pop our gravy granules into here for the moment. Okay, so I'm going to put our onions in, or shallots. just going to check like, oh, okay, they're doing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out, because they've done, and I'm going to put them right at the bottom of the oven. It will keep them warm, but it will keep them a bit more apart as well. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. And then we're also going to get our creme fraiche. Our creme fraiche and our soft cheese. Or cream cheese. It used to be called cream cheese, but now for some reason they've all changed it to soft cheese. So maybe it's me having to try and get with the times, I don't know. Okay, so fry them off. I'm going to pop in our garlic as well to help that fry off. I'm getting there. I'll put our mustard in as well. Okay, I've reduced my oven down to 200. Let's put that over there for the moment. Okay, so I'm just waiting for my kettle to go. Okay, start putting in your gravy granules. But just bring it to the side a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the jug. The only reason why I'm putting it in the jug is so that I can get an idea of how much water I'm actually putting in it. Okay, so put a little bit in. Okay, so it's got pit stuck. That's alright. It will come together in a minute. It's just where it's all got cold with the onions. Okay, I've got it all off. So put a bit more water in, and then we're going to pop it back on the heat. Now, don't do what I did when I first made this. I freaked out because of the onions. I thought it was like there was something wrong with it. I thought that it was like it wasn't reducing. So I spent there for ages whisking it, and then actually realised it was actually just the gravy. So don't panic too much. Okay, so we might not put any more water in that. Just a tiny bit more. So this was a 500ml mug, jug, and I've put about 400ml of water in. Okay, so we're going to start putting our cheese in it. I'll put this over here again. Okay, so once again, when you're doing things like this, just take it off just for a minute. Okay, so pop that in. It will start looking like sauce. It's just going to take a bit of time. Okay, let's put that like that. Okay, and I'm going to put a bit of creme fraiche in it as well. So we need another spoon. Okay, so a big dollop of creme fraiche. Creme fraiche is so easy to get now. It used to be really, really difficult to get. And then all of a sudden it became popular with all the chefs and everything. And they all started using it. So everybody started to get it. So it became a bit more popular. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of pepper in with this as well. So, just put a little bit of pepper. I'm not putting any more salt in because we've got the gravy granules in there. It will be way too salty. Okay, so give it a bit more of a stir. Okay, and that's our sauce done. Now what we've got to do is wait for the meatballs to do. See you in a bit. Okay, so our meatballs are done. So I'm just going to pop them on there. I've done 6 each, and I did have some left over. So what I've done is I've put them in there for tomorrow, and I'm going to have some pasta with it with some tomato sauce. Got to make sure I'm getting the right amount. I can see Gary's eyes boring on me to make sure that I'm actually doing the right amount. Okay, so pop this over here. I'm going to pop our sauce back on so that it starts heating up. Oh, I haven't got anywhere to put my food today. Okay, now I thought mine needed just that little bit more sauce. So, actually I could do that, couldn't I? I thought mine needed just that little bit more sauce. So, water, sorry, to the sauce. So I've put that extra little bit in that was left over into it. And it still is thick, so there you go. Okay, so we'll get our chips in a second. Just going to wait for this to boil up a bit more. Now, creme fraiche and cream cheese, I would suggest putting it in kind of at the last minute like this. Do not do it like boiling for ages, like in a slow cooker or something like that, because the slow cooker actually breaks down any dairy products, so you end up just getting like a load of like that white flaky stuff all in your food, which isn't very nice. So yeah, I would suggest probably just doing that. Taking forever. Oh, there we go. Just wasn't on a high enough heat. So we'll put that there again. And then we're going to get our chips out. Watch, see how hot it actually is. Quite hot. Okay, so put the chips out. Okay, and put that all on there. This is my way. Okay, so put them there. We'll put that over there. And then our sauce should be nicely foiled. Just give it a couple more seconds. Okay, and then we're going to pour it over our meatballs. And there you are, my coquettes. That is my style IKEA meatballs. Well, thank you very much for watching, my coquettes. We really do appreciate it. So please like, please share. And if you're on YouTube, please like our page. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.